What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it on day 14 to 31 of my horror-related reactions. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. OG members, how y'all doing? So, day 14, today we have the Scary Horror Stories animated compilation. We'll look at a few of these, and then yeah, see how this is. And if you have suggestions as far as within this 31 days, definitely let me know in the comments. Let's check it out.
This is something that happened a few years ago. This was back when I was in college, but it was my senior year. For that school year, I lived in a small and old house a little ways off of campus. It was a pretty typical college neighborhood with a bunch of other similar houses. I shared the two-bedroom house that I lived in with one other person, my roommate named Jason. We had met each other in college and were friends. So an event took place a few months into the school year. Jason and I were both always coming and going from the house. We both had classes at all sorts of random times, and we also both worked jobs part-time as well. So one night, I came back home to the house after a late class. I had been gone basically all day since the morning, because I spent the time in between my classes studying in buildings around campus. After arriving back to the house, I parked out front on the side of the street and walked up to the front door. I went inside and was going to go upstairs and change. However, right when I got inside, something seemed off. The first room in the house was the living room, and it looked a little bit messed up. Also, the door that leads to the basement was wide open, and we always kept it closed. I knew that Jason was gone at work until later, and of course, I figured that he was responsible for the mess and the open door. It was not really like him though, because we were both pretty clean and picked up after ourselves. But obviously, it couldn't be anybody else. I thought maybe he left in a hurry and had been looking for something. Either way, it wasn't too big of a deal. I just picked up the few things that were on the floor, and then I went over and closed the door. I was going to go upstairs and change then, so I walked up and then went to my bedroom. Then I took a quick shower, changed clothes, and then went back downstairs to get something to eat. After going back downstairs though, I saw that the basement door was once again open. This really creeped me out.
Yeah, no, it would creep me out too. There was something I just knew it was leading up to that. It's just all like, is it the door's gonna be open? The roommate isn't there. What's about to go down? Like, so I wonder, is it a ghost? Is it just somebody that broke in? I don't know. We
Bad
go
feeling
see.
about it immediately, but I thought that maybe Jason had returned home early from work. I called out his name, asking if he was back. He obviously didn't go upstairs or I would have seen or heard him, but when I called out, I got no response. I decided to go and look in the basement. At our house, we had this old, unfinished basement. We mostly didn't have anything down there except for the washing machine, dryer, and a few boxes. I took like one or two steps down the stairs. As soon as I did, I immediately saw somebody down there. It was dark, so I didn't get a good look at all. It appeared to be a man though, and somebody who I did not recognize. He was just barely in my sight. After seeing him, I could not believe it. But then he started to turn, and I think to look at me. But right away, I turned around and quickly went back upstairs. Then I closed the door behind me. Then I ran upstairs and went back inside of my bedroom. I closed the door and locked it behind me. After that, I got out my phone and I dialed 911. Right as this was all going on, I started to hear the guy walking around downstairs. I spoke with the 911 dispatcher explaining the situation. But right after I did, I heard the man start to walk upstairs. I just hoped that he wouldn't try to get in my bedroom. My room was the first one at the top of the stairs to the right. Jason's room was a little ways down and to the left, and he also had his door shut. The only other room up there was the bathroom. So after the footsteps reached the top of the stairs, almost instantly they were right outside of my door. I was really nervous. Then they turned and tried the door handle. I'm so happy that my door had a lock on it. When the door didn't open, the guy walked further down the hallway. I heard him opening Jason's door, which was unlocked. Then he went inside there. This really creeped me out because whoever this guy was knew that I must have seen him, and instead of leaving, he chose to go upstairs and seemingly go after me. I
Yeah,
did
that's
my best
weird.
to keep calm. I just hoped that the police would arrive shortly. The man stayed inside of Jason's bedroom for probably 2 or 3 minutes. Then he came
Hmm.
back out. He seemed to go near the bathroom for a few seconds. Then he turned around and headed back towards my room.
Oh,
Except this
heck no.
time, he walked past and went back down the stairs. After going back down, I heard him walking a little. Then the sound of the front door opened and shut. I figured that he left,
Oh,
but
heck
I still
no.
didn't leave my bedroom.
Yeah, I would
Just a
have
few
either.
minutes after that, the cops
If you
got
say you
there.
saw two
I
people.
went down and told them what happened. They looked around, but the guy was gone. I called Jason and told him about it too. He came home a while later, and unfortunately, a few things were stolen from his bedroom. We
Oh,
never found
dang.
out who did it. Also, I'm pretty sure whoever this guy was just walked right in. We didn't do a very good job of locking our door because we were
Why
always coming
not?
and going. But after that, we did.
Heck yeah, shoot. That is weird. That is weird. That is super weird. But I thought he said he saw two people, which was the weird thing. But yeah, nah, I would have dipped. I would have buffed that. And then they stole something. It's like, what were they doing in the basement? I don't know. That was a weird one. That was a weird one. Okay, let's go. Let's see one more.
This is something that happened back when I was a kid. I was 12 years
Definitely
old and I lived with my parents in a pretty average house. So this took place during the
averages.
summertime. Obviously, I was home from school and I liked to play video games. So
Shout
on
out
this
to
night in
anime.
particular, my parents had gone to bed and I stayed up pretty late gaming. By this point, it was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was
Jesus.
inside of my bedroom and just about every light in our house was off, except for a small lamp on my desk. I did not have headphones in, but I just had my video games at a pretty low volume. So my bedroom was right off the living room, and the front door was connected to that. As I was sitting there playing video games, I suddenly heard the sound like somebody was trying to open our front door. Of course, it took me by surprise, and instantly I was suspicious. I didn't really consider our neighborhood to have much crime, and nothing like that had ever happened before that I was aware of. So I paused my game and sat there listening. I heard whoever it was tried the door again, and then things were pretty quiet for a few moments. I decided to get up and look at that point. I quietly got up and walked out of my bedroom and into the dark living room. There was just a little bit of light coming in from the windows, which had shades mostly covering them. I walked over and looked through the front window. When I did, I saw nothing at all. Whoever had been at the door was gone now. I didn't know who it was or why they were there. I thought maybe somebody accidentally went to the wrong house. Either way, they were gone
Wait.
now, which made me
It's funny because it's just like sometimes we be just trying to have so much just hope for people. Like, nah, they just went to the wrong house. It's even try. I mean, I've kind of heard of something like that happening, but usually it's usually not the
feel a
case.
lot better. So I walked back into my bedroom, sat back down, and continued my gaming. I really wasn't that tired yet. I was
At
already in a
one,
habit of staying up late most nights and gaming. But less than
what
five
about
minutes later,
school?
I heard another noise. It was this strange noise that I don't even really know how to describe. Not quite a scraping sound, but similar. It was coming from the back side of the house and where our back door was. When I heard it, the same feeling from earlier came back. Was
Oh,
somebody
heck
trying to
no.
break in? I was honestly too scared to go and look. I stayed there in my bedroom, just listening to the noise and hoping that it would stop. I
Get on
tried
your
thinking of
parents.
logical explanations, but I really couldn't come up with anything. The noise continued on though, much longer than when the person had tried entering the house through the front door. After several minutes, I didn't know what to do. I considered my options. I could go and wake my parents. I could go to the phone and call the police, or I could go and see what the cause of the noise was. I
Oh
did
my
not have a
goodness.
cell phone, and there was no phone in my room either. So to do so, I would have to go to the kitchen where the landline was. Ironically, that's also where the back door to the house was.
Oh, heck
But
no.
before I could do anything, I suddenly heard the sound of the back door opening. That was one of the scariest
Oh
moments of my
no,
life.
no,
As soon as
no,
it happened,
no.
though, as a reaction, I just bolted from my parents' room. I
For
left my
real.
bedroom, ran down the hallway, and then went into their room. I woke them up and said that I heard somebody enter the house. My dad ended up getting up and walking to the doorway. He
Damn.
quietly opened it and seemed to be listening. He must have heard whoever had entered the house walking or something. He told us somebody was inside and then told my mom to call the police. Then my dad shouted loudly that the police had been called, and he also shouted that he was armed. Now, I don't think that my dad had a gun. He certainly didn't have one on him at the time, but I think he was just trying to scare the person off. Surprisingly, it must have worked, because like 15 seconds later, he said that he heard the back door close. We stayed inside the room though until the police got
Yeah.
there. Then my
Oh, this
parents,
is.
as well as me, had to talk to them and answer questions. I told them
Ooh.
everything that happened. Unfortunately, I never got a look at the person at all. I couldn't tell you if it
Fuck
was a
that.
male, female, or anything about them. The police tested for fingerprints, and they also told us that there had been a few reported break-ins in the general area. Luckily, we didn't have anything stolen. After that, nothing else like that happened. I'm really glad that I was up late playing video games and was able to alert my parents about it quickly.
Yeah, because who knows what would have happened. This video is sponsored by yours truly, Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. And for the month of October on my Mr. Composition Music YouTube page, I am doing one-shot music video a day. So, for 31 days, there will be a new one-shot video, and the goal is to get that channel to 1,000 subscribers. So, make sure to check that out, subscribe, show some love to the videos, and drop a comment, man. Let me know that you came from this channel. But anyways, guys, back to the video. That's crazy. So, dang, man. Yeah, the options was kind of like few and far between, but getting your parents was definitely the first step. Like that, he said instinctually. I like these little animated ones. It does like I still get the sense of like, horror with it, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. This is day 14 to 31 horror related reactions. This was composition of MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.